Hello, you're watching Bamba Sport. My name is Mohamed Abubakar, and today we'll be talking with an English Premier League great and Liverpool legend, Robbie Fowler, who is in the country, courtesy of Barclays. He'll be telling us more of why he is here and what he's been doing these past few days. Robbie, Karibu Kenya and Jambo.
Hello, how are you? Okay.
How have you been? It's been a busy few days for you.
Yeah, it's been very busy, but you know what? I've loved it. I think you're quite fortunate when you play football at a good level, in particular the Premier League, and when you have sponsors who want to bring you out to to visit a place like Kenya and meet the fans. Meet the fans of. Look, let's be honest. We've got a great league, haven't we, in the UK, and there's fans all over the world. And when you experience what I've experienced this last few days, I think it's been brilliant.
And maybe I'd like to ask you why Barclays and why Kenya? What drew you to visit?
Well, look, Barclays have campaigns, all the time, and obviously this particular campaign is the Superfans United, which is getting the fans together. Giving them the chance to sign up and maybe go and visit a game over in the Premier League. I'm not sure what game, but there will be a game within the Premier League. So that's what it's basically about. So I've visited, a few soccer camps as well. A few foundations. As you said, I've been quite busy, but it's been really good. I think it's been really beneficial.
And you've managed to attend soccer clinics, like you mentioned, and you've met one or two Kenyan football legends as well. What have you taken from these places you've visited in terms of the culture of football here and even the talent?
Yeah, look, in all honesty, I mean, I've been to many places, as I said before, and I don't think anything surprises me ever. It will never surprise me ever again, because I think one of the things that if you were new to coming to a place like Kenya or any place in Africa, I mean the passion for football, the passion for the Premier League, and the passion for players who play in the Premier League, I think is astonishing. You're relatively shocked when you first see it, but when you do it more and more often, I mean it just shows you the power of football. The power of football is huge, and obviously, seeing people like me, seeing people like you mentioned a few of the Kenyan stars from from yesteryear. If kids are going to foundations or academies or foundations set up by them, then hopefully that will inspire the next generation to become stars of the Premier League in the future.
And we have a player who is playing in the Premier League, Victor Wanyama. He's doing quite well. Scored a scream against your beloved.
We don't want to talk about that one now.
It was a cracker, mind you. But my question is, what do you think the country should do now to make sure we nurture more talents like the likes of Victor, so that they can play at the higher level?
You know what? I mean, it's a question you get asked all the time. And I think what you've got to remember is that the Premier League is a phenomenal league. So to get to that level, I mean, it will be extraordinarily hard. And it's not something that happens overnight. It's something that needs to be done at grassroots level. So we obviously the Musa Foundation, obviously what Barclays are involved in. When you start doing campaigns like that and bringing kids through grassroots level, great facilities, good coaches, and getting kids to enjoy football the right way. I mean that's definitely the way for the future, because it is tough to just come in and say we'll fix it here. You can't fix it at the top. You've got to fix it at the bottom and get kids, get kids entwined into football life, into professionalism, into the top facilities, and what I witnessed today was great. And look, that's going to benefit the future players, and certainly the Kenyan national team in the future.
And I like that you've gone to that direction, because we always talk on what the country should do, what the federation should do to make sure the game grows. We'd like to talk about you, because you're a good example of someone who has risen through the ranks, especially from your younger years at Liverpool. You went all the way to the senior team. Perhaps what can you advise some of the younger players who have started? What are some of the things you need to have to make sure you can...
Well, look, there's lots of things that you need to have. Obviously you need a little bit of talent, that gets you. But you need a little bit of luck as well. Don't get me wrong. I sort of fell into football in terms of people were getting injured and I fell in, or people weren't scoring goals. I'd done reasonably well. But look, being a young kid, there's plenty of things you need to do. You need to obviously want to play football. You need to be dedicated. You need to be sacrificed. You need to sacrifice a lot of things, and you need to want to do it. And I find that certainly in the UK, a lot of kids just want to turn up and not do all the hard work. You see, all the best players in the world, they will tell you everything they've done when they were kids, and that was just work hard and practice and keep practicing. Do the monotony of practicing over and over again. It might seem or feel a little bit boring, but I guarantee you, once you get older and things become a little bit more natural because you practice that much, it will surprisingly be a little bit easier.
And you did work hard, and you're gifted. You got your breakthrough in around 1993. That is, you went into the first team, played with the likes of Ian Rush and the likes of John Barnes. How did you feel when you finally made it to that first team?
Well, look, it was years and years of hard work. You know, I didn't suddenly wake up and become, you know, a Liverpool player. You know, maybe nowadays it's a little bit different because players obviously can live their lives through social media, and players certainly coming into the Premier League, a lot of people know who they are because of social media. But years ago we were just allowed to sort of develop and progress naturally. You know, go through the ranks, go through certain teams within academies, and then go to under 18s, reserve teams, B teams, everything. So the progression was always there. So people didn't see that. So people didn't see you working as hard as what you might have envisaged, or people might have thought, well, it's just been quite lucky. But it is really just hard work. You know, nothing in this life comes easy. You've got to work at everything, and that's including being a footballer. You know, it could be being a sports reporter. It could be being working in a bank, or any sort of business. You've got to work at what you want. You know, if you want it, you go out there and strive to be the best, and there's nothing that can stop you.
You had 2 spells with Liverpool. My question would lie with the first spell in the 90s, especially. Many people have different opinion on why that team did not manage to actually win the title, because you had a group of very talented players during the mid-90s. That is, in your opinion, what do you think was lacking, maybe, or what were the shortcomings?
Look, I don't think there's anything was lacking. I think just sometimes you put your hand up and there was another team, Manchester United, who was slightly better than us at the time. I mean, that's the simple answer. I don't think, I said before about working hard. I think, look, we worked hard, we tried. Unfortunately it wasn't to be. We done well in various cups or various other competitions. But as a footballer, you probably, or certainly football in the Premier League, you're going to get judged on not winning the Premier League a lot. And we never done it. But look, it was not through the lack of trying. Sometimes, said before, there's other teams who are slightly better than you. Then you put your hand up and you just admit that. But we were a great team. There's no doubt about it. But just never got to the heights that maybe we should have done.
You had a big career, you've played for other teams as well, but I'm sticking with Liverpool because you've been there longest. If you look back at your footballing career, are you satisfied with what you've managed to achieve, or is there something you wish you could have done more?
Look, I think there's always sort of elements of your career which you could have improved, or you wish you could have done better, or you wish never would have happened. But I think everything in life, happens for a reason. As long as you come out the other end, a better person, I think everyone will be fine with that. Would I swap my career? Not a chance, because I had a wonderful career. Scored goals. Played for my hometown club in Liverpool twice. Nothing comes better than that. It really, it was a fantastic time being a footballer.
If you can allow me to go to the current Liverpool side, first of all, I'd like to ask, Liverpool is known for producing the best strikers in the game, from the likes of Kenny Dalglish, Ian Rush, yourself, Michael Owen, Fernando Torres, Suarez. The list is so long. Do you think the current Liverpool squad, particularly Mo Salah, can join that group of great strikers?
Well, of course he can. But the names, other than probably Luis Suarez and Fernando Torres, I think the other players you mentioned have been there, a long time and scored lots of goals. Obviously Suarez and Torres were there, and they were fantastic, and they were quite rightly, adored by lots of Liverpool fans because of the goals. But to get to the status of i.e. and Ian Rush, I think you've got to be there for a long time. I think certainly Mo and Sadio Mane are there now, and they've just signed new contracts. So look, they're potentially unbelievably Liverpool legends of the future. I think they're Liverpool legends now in terms of the way they're playing. But I think if they stay there, keep scoring the amount of goals they do, and keep assisting each other, and obviously fingers crossed he can bring many trophies. If they do that, then there's no reason why everyone in the world wouldn't talk about them in the same breath as you would any Liverpool. Great.
Definitely. You have mentioned trophies. Do you think this current Liverpool squad can finally break that drought, or rather end that drought, especially?
Yeah, look, it's tough, and it's a really funny question to answer because look, I'm going to sit here and obviously say, of course they can. But you look at the Premier League now, and there's some great teams that there really is. So as much as your team, you as a supporter want your team to win it, there's other supporters from other teams who want their team to win it, who think they can win it. So yeah, it's tough. I mean, they've got half a chance, but look, Man City are the team that everyone wants to be. Every probably team wants to emulate what they are and what they're about. But Liverpool are definitely progressed. Liverpool are probably best equipped out of the next pack, behind City. So can they win it? Of course they can, but it's incredibly difficult. I wouldn't say yes they are going to win it. I would never ever say that, because you leave yourself open to so much criticism if they don't. So and I always like the answer. They've got a good chance.
They've got a good chance.
It's much safer.
All right, we're moving into the section of our interview. It's a little bit chilled. I'll be asking you quick fire questions. These are questions we've gathered from our viewers at Bamba Sport, so we've selected them. You can answer them with just one word or just a few words.
Okay.
So we have the first one is who is an African player you've wished you could have played with, past or present?
I'm saying two.
Okay.
I'm going to say Mane and Salah because of the Liverpool connection.
Yeah.
I think I'd have scored a few more goals playing with them too.
Definitely. They've proved that they can share goals between all three of them.
Great players, aren't they? Great players.
Definitely. And now that you've mentioned that, there's another question that was further down. The two are in the final shortlist for the BBC African Player of the Year, Mane and Mo Salah. Who do you think has a chance of getting it this year?
It's a tough one. I think with I'm a big fan of Mane. Actually, I'm a real big fan of him. I'd like to see him win it. Mo won it. Did Mo win it last year?
Yeah.
I think he did.
Yeah.
So Mo won it last year. And obviously his achievements, not only for Liverpool, but for Egypt, the national team. I think you'll probably see him winning it.
And they both went to the World Cup as well. So it's
a
tough one.
It's a tough one.
I hope none of them will hold you to it. Just pick one.
I think Mo will probably win it,
Mo.
but I wouldn't be surprised if Sadio won it as well.
All right. That's even safer.
No, I'm telling you, I'm a fence sitter. Yeah.
All right. The most memorable goal you've scored for Liverpool?
It's a tough one. Because all of them were memorable. As a player, I can probably remember, I reckon 90-95% of all my goals. So no goal was better than the other. Look, I think you can maybe score goals from outside the box or inside the box. I love tap-ins. Tap-ins were brilliant because that meant you were doing what you were doing. So, the obvious answer is...
The original fox in the box.
Yeah,
Robbie
well,
Fowler.
I think the obvious answer is, look, as a Liverpool player, as a Liverpool person, I think any goal against Everton or Man United.
All right.
That's the obvious answer.
I'd agree with you. If you can remember an African player that was the toughest you faced in your playing career?
I'm a big fan of Didier Drogba. Actually, I think he was. He's obviously just retired. I think he was great in the Premier League. He had a great career. In terms of my position, you go back as far as Rigobert Song. We used to train against him all the time. JJ Kocher was outstanding ability. He was. I'd go Rigobert Song in training. He was tough.
Yeah,
he would kick you. He wouldn't think twice about not kicking you.
Definitely. Okay, last two. Your footballing idol growing up?
I had two. Actually. It was two players. One called Trevor Steven and one called Graham Sharp, who played for Everton. Both different players. Graham Sharp was a centre forward, and Trevor Steven was a tricky winger. So I used to see a little bit of myself in both of them. So not really one particular player, but two. But I was also a big fan of Ian Rush. Ian Rush, because I was a goal scorer. Or I used to think I was a goal scorer. I love players who score goals, and Ian Rush was probably one of the best I've ever seen at that.
Last but not least, what do you love most about Kenya?
Again, I think it's the people. I think the people make anywhere, as good. I've visited some, wonderful sites. I've met some fantastic people. I think the people are very warm and very friendly. I've really enjoyed my time. And I think that's down to the people making it as special as what it is.
All right. I hope you enjoy the rest of your visit here and safe trip back.
Thank you.
Thank you.